this. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, along with
CJ Lou from the Fired Up with CJ show. Woo!
My glasses are fogging with these things on. If you ever wanted to reinvent your life, then do we have the courage building Lean into Discomfort show for you. Today, we'll talk about feeling the discomfort, leaning deep, and finding faith and courage to leap to the other side. That plus we'll talk about, I guess, smiley face masks, lofty heights and the love bug, elk and raven, clients in ER mode, being and doing wrestle, embodiment, owning mail, down the rabbit hole, turtles and hogs, going 50% of the way, dream team meetings, daring to mold, the Hummer's triumphant return, a mission to help others, hair gone wild. I think we can all appreciate this one at this point. And what in the world uncontrollable honking and YouTube lives have to do with anything? So welcome back to the show, CJ. Are you ready to shine?
I am ready to shine. Woohoo! Honk, honk, honk. All right, I have Chakra 5, lavender, frankincense, and blue camellia. Okay, what was your honking?
Well, and so for people who can't see this, when I go out in public, I now wear a face mask that has, of course, yellow smiley faces on it.
I have a whole pile of masks in front next to our door that I got of buffs.
Excellent, excellent. So the uncontrollable honking, it started with a YouTube live last week, and it has happened 3 out of the last 4 shows where I have this honk of a laugh that comes out of me, sort of like a rutting elk, usually only when the Pookie jabs me in the sides or something equivalent, but it has started coming out more often. And on a YouTube live, I lost it for a good 5 or 10 minutes with 3,500 people after a meditation. And I just, because the energy was so high among all of this, I just popped and cracked and laughed and laughed and cried and laughed and cried and laughed. And it was a glorious experience. And then it happened with Bill Bennett on the show 2 nights ago. And then I think a 3rd show yesterday with Penachet Desai where I cracked up as well. So it's like right.
I've never heard the honk. I feel so disappointed, Michael. How could I have never heard a honk from you?
It's close. It's right there. It doesn't take much at this. So who knows?
That's my whole goal today. I didn't have a goal today, but now I think our goal is to get you to honk. Oh.
And now I'm going. What do you call it? What's the word for it? I'm protecting myself. Protecting myself.
You're armoring up from the honk. What is it? Is it kind of like?
You won't get me started yet.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to see if I have a picture I can. Oh yes. So I finished. I think it was an interview talking about elk, or a call talking about elk, and I left the studio and saw this about
screen share.
It's coming across. Give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I took this picture right after talking about elk on air or on camera.
Wow.
And do you see that?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow.
So there are hundreds of elk in front of the house with a giant raven that was swinging back.
Wow.
It was flying back and forth, cawing to us. And it was the coolest.
What day was this? What day?
That was probably Tuesday, I want to guess. It was, well, I can actually look. It was April 22nd. Today's the 24th, so that was Wednesday. Wednesday.
Okay, because I on Tuesday, I think, was the dark side of the moon. It was something like that. There's something happening with the moon on Tuesday, and it was a calling. I interviewed someone who is an astrologist, and she said it was a calling for us to go back into a root chakra. So what do elk mean?
You know, that's a good question. I looked up raven specifically. Elk are well, geez, we've got to look that up. I can't believe I'm going to look it up during the interview. What the heck? I mean,
okay,
while you look
it up, I'll actually tell you what I looked up this morning. So I was actually coming back from a walk, and I saw a blue jay, and blue jays, I guess, are rebel rousers. So I thought,
oh yes,
okay, that's interesting. So I saw blue jays, so that was in my path. But I am curious about, you had a bunch of animals. You had turtles and hogs, I had
So
a blue jay, elk,
I had
crow.
the most amazing turtle dream where it seems to be most people, on a good day can fly in their dreams.
Yeah.
I don't usually get fly in my dreams. I can breathe underwater, and that's
Ooh.
almost every night I get a dream where I can breathe underwater.
Oh, neat.
And so I went down into this underwater caverny place in one dream earlier this week, and I opened up this door to this room, and it was filled with turtles, swimming giant sea tortoises swimming on their side, along with Master Oogway. So and Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda, and it
Okay.
was a message. It was a
Yeah.
message of chill into everything, of relax into everything, of not worry into anything. And it was really, really cool. And that is a big message I'm getting. This is from last fall, but these little guys returned
The
here, and we'll
hummingbirds.
have to
I
give.
know you had like thousands of them.
So hummingbirds triumphant return. I wrote about it in automatic writing on the 21st, but it was actually the 22nd that I saw the first one. So here we go. Spiritual meaning of elk. And we got hundreds of them, the most we've ever seen since we've been here, right after I walked out. Um, the elk is the symbol of pride, strength, and stamina. It,
Oh.
it symbolizes endurance and patience, as
Hmm.
well as relation with other people. It may be a sign if elk appears to you, and we've been working on community. It may be a sign that you belong to a community, so you should work as a group. Aha, this is exactly
Hmm.
what we're working on. And spend more time with your friends and family. We have been doing everything to build this Inspire Nation tribe to get people in free to our boot camps and to do everything we can to build community during this time to create a
Inspire Corp,
critical
right?
mass. Yes,
Inspire Corp.
exactly.
That's your mission to help others.
It is absolutely, and we are on fire for it. And so, Raven, as we're looking in the distance on this hillside and seeing hundreds and hundreds of elk, and for those who aren't familiar, we're not in New York City, we're outside of Aspen. So it makes sense, but this is the most elk we've ever seen since we've lived here. Um, and the elk are in the distance, and then this raven kept on flying back and forth in front of us,
Mm.
and what sounded like screaming to us. It says, when raven magically appears, your spirit animal transmutation has begun. Wow. Because that is what we've been talking about is transmuting energy during this time. And it's talking about a spiritual rebirth because this is a time, I believe, for all of us of an incredible rebirth. Half of our programs lately have been about recreating your life, and this being the time that we're going to be able to recreate more than ever because we are lighter than ever. And by lighter, all of the old rules, all of the old everything don't apply in the same way. We are coming completely unmoored, unglued, you could say. It's
Dissolved.
very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
yes, but out of that discomfort, and especially if you're brave enough to lean into it, that's where the magic is coming. We don't go back to this world, and I've been talking about that for a few months. There will be no going back to a pre-coronavirus world. We're going to live a different way. We're going to act a different way. We're going to interact a different way. We're going to work a different way. And so, if we can start to begin to embrace that, even in the fear or the I don't have the money, the resources, the home, whatever during this time, but say, hey, wait, that means I'm dangerous. I'm free. Something can come out of this.
I could be a blue jay.
I'm a wild and crazy guy.
Staring up a ruckus. I'm going to honk my way through life now.
No, this is it. You're not getting it out of me.
No, I'm
Not
not.
happening.
Okay, it's not going Oh my God. You just such a energy to ground you. I'm so sorry I ever did that.
I'm fighting to hold it together, CJ.
Okay, breathe into your feet. Breathe in to get grounded. All right, I've never seen anything like that before.
The good news is it started with a near-death experience a long time ago. It only comes out really in sacred times, and it means that whatever I'm doing is actually working. I'm vibrating at a higher frequency, and I start to
Wow.
get palms. My hands turn red. You can see here they're all red
Oh
now.
my gosh.
I get beads of sweat, and it's a good thing.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, I told you how whenever there was a point in which I had so many kriyas that my arm would go like this. Are you okay?
Next, like fat.
What? Okay. All right. So where were we? I I had a period of time where I would either be my shoulder would go like this, my head would twist around when I was in the presence of truth, or I'd go like this. Huh! just, so we all have
Like Tourette's.
we all have, yeah. I think
Yep.
well someone in the path that I've been studying non-dual tantric Shaivism. They talk about two different paths, Navapaya, Shaktapaya, and Shambhavapaya. And Shaktapaya is when the energy does you. You like have no, I'm sorry, you're no longer doing your life. The energy now is doing your life. And all you can
I have
do is
no
surrender.
control over that one.
I think maybe that's the stage that you're in.
It is, and I mean, I'm okay, and not just okay with it. It is both painful and enjoyable, which it sounds a little weird there. But I mean, it's just I can't catch my breath. But it's clearly doing something on an oxytocin, a dopamine, and it's
Wow.
contagious to those around me.
Yeah, wait,
Which
so you had it, you started, it started happening when you were, after your near-death experience?
after NDE number two, I never had this laugh before NDE number two.
Wow.
And so I consider it the laugh of the Buddha or something like that. And usually it's only the Pookie that can draw that out of me.
Wow.
Very, 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 very rare exceptions. And I didn't see that laugh almost for the last year until a few weeks ago. But
Wow.
I've been working to stay through this coronavirus time, even though I watch the news, in my opinion, quote unquote, too much. But but I seem to be bringing it back and balancing it and continuously looking for the positives.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I have been throwing myself not so much into like 10 hours of meditation in a row, but trying to make life a living meditation right now.
Mm-hmm.
How much can I stay in a state of prayer? How much can I stay in a state of grace? And I feel like my tank is filling up and filling up and filling up. This 3,500 person meditation on our YouTube Live on Tuesday night, and we've got another one tonight, was the most special thing I've ever felt.
Oh,
Just
cool.
sweat pouring down, hands red, and then I popped and went into my laugh from this thing, and I had about 3,500 people going into that laugh, and they're like, "I'm crying now. It's a good cry. I'm down on the floor. I fell off of my chair."
Wow. What was the meditation that you were doing yesterday and doing today?
I'm just playing with light. I'm just reminding people or bringing them back into the light that they are and helping them from a cellular level on be the sun that we each are and getting
Mm-hmm.
them to vibrate at the frequency of light. And everything I've been doing has been playing with light because I'm a alchemist and a frequency kind of guy. But
Yeah.
we all are. At the end of the day, we're all frequency in matter, which is a frequency to itself. So I've been reintroducing this to people.
Mm.
And and I'm finding myself popping and popping and popping and popping and popping and popping. I think I had Bernie Siegel on earlier today, and I almost popped with him. I don't know where he would have gone with that. Uh,
He's such a calm guy. He's so kind of a.
so
I would
I
have loved to
managed,
see him honking.
I'm like right on the edge now. But it has been, to me, I mean, I look around at all the challenges going on with us, and my God is the Pookie. And if you're not familiar with it, that's Jessica, my wife. She's the producer of this show, and she runs everything. This has been a time of tremendous change and of poking me in the side with a pitchfork to make some really big changes that we need to, because we've hit that critical mass with our audience where
Yay.
things have taken off, where we're going, okay, you can't just get by. You need systems in place.
Right.
But at the same time, my energy, even with some exhaustion, admittedly, real exhaustion, energy's been going up and up and up and up, and I have nothing to do with it. Just kind of,
Yeah. That's great. Ride the wave, man. It's so fun when that period happens. I'm like Eeyore compared to you, I think. Because
it's just right below the.
you have oh God, not this
We're
again.
gonna make it through this, folks. We're gonna make it through. Take a seat. Here's where the oxygen masks are. Exits. Not that anybody's flying. Put on your mask if you need to. Go, CJ.
Okay, so all right. Oh my God. All right, so I don't even know where to begin, Michael. Okay. I'm like in the exact opposite of you.
I'm like my own blooper reel.
You are.
I need the opposite of laughing gas right now.
All right, I gotta.
You in the
Ah.
room, put the cone on your head.
Ah. Get your energy down. Ah. Ah. My God. Okay, keep you grounded. It's funny because in my meditations, I've been getting a lot of light too. And my tendency is to go be completely filled with light. And I've been trying to balance that by like not for me when I do that, sometimes it's a way to and it's escape hatch because like I can't deal with things. So if I just go into the light, it's like an escape hatch. And sometimes you need that escape hatch. And sometimes that escape hatch is keeping you from the real deal. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a
I had
very,
several years of holding space in a meditation, in a meditation center, 3, 4 hours a day for 6 months straight. And it was an escape, let's be honest. I
yeah,
was taking myself away from the game.
yeah. I mean, it's a very, when you have as much knowledge as we do, which is you have the knowledge and the skills of knowing, like, okay, when your energy is vibrating at a lower level, do you like take it? And it's like, I would say that I had a meeting with a guest, and she did a soul reading with me, and the
Mhm.
soul reading actually just made me go sideways. I mean, it just like I clumbed down into the deepest despair after the
Oh,
reading, and it was about how I would say that I've been working on my grounding,
mhm.
and she had said that my tendency, like if you look at my energy, my crown chakra is like gigantic. It's like woo, like a big gigantic triangle this way. So this is my tendency, but I don't have enough grounding. And so, unlike you, who has animals, all these different things, you have a lot of grounding into nature. I've been working on grounding myself. And she had said that part of what I need to work on is having a healthy male side of
Mhm.
me so that that male can protect the female side of me and both can
Makes
feel
sense.
safe being on earth. And so I don't know why that just kind of set me off into like oh geez, like oh my God. And she had said, well, there have been past lives that you've had that um, nothing in this life, but where I've actually been physically abused. And so I've had past lives where I've been physically abused, and therefore I don't feel like the men protected me and I didn't feel safe. And it was like all the story, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go down to the storyland. It's all a story, it's all a
Yeah.
narrative. But then the bottom line is, like this part of me doesn't want to go there. It's like, that's a story, don't go there. But then I think the body is still stuck in a place where it still believes and it still needs to be released from that level of, that kind of trauma, let's say, that it's actually stored in the body. So I'm like, oh no, really? Do we have to go there? I don't want to. So I've been actually like, okay, I guess I have to go down the rabbit hole, go
Yeah.
in, feel what it is that I need to feel that I've been disowning so that I can become embodied. And I've been reading Reichen therapy. Have you ever heard of that? This is a guy in
No.
Lowen. These are folks from the past that believed in, there's two different branches of psychology, the talk psychology and embodiment. Embodiment is actually working through your issues, as I understand it, working through your issues through the body. And so the belief is that in order to survive, our body goes through all sorts of armoring. And so that armoring is kind of starts getting fixed into the musculature, so it's like either like you see people, their shoulders are like this, or my jaw is like really tight and I've been working, or people, if you actually see them breathing, um, their muscles tightened around their chest and their abdomen. And
Yeah.
so those are all examples of body armoring. And so the way that you get out of body armoring is to being relaxed and letting go of the emotions that are bound into your body. And then when you relax those things, you can be open. And when you're open, you can truly feel the beauty that the earth and spirit and all these other things are there to provide for you. But if you're in survival mode like this,
Shoulders up,
yeah,
tighten
yeah,
chest.
yeah, you're not going to feel anything. And so this kind of leads to where all my clients are. Every single client I talk to is like this. And I was like, I've been, and I'm such an empath. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I literally have to go running afterwards, just like,
Mm.
and it's like the kind of coaching I'm doing is so interesting because it's all block and tackle, like simple stuff that I know my clients know, that they're in a state of like their brain is fried. They
Mhm.
cannot think straight. And so I'm trying to work with them like, okay, so what's the priority? How would you typically do that? Do you know how to do that? Can you put together a plan? If you can't, let's talk about like stuff that I know they can do, but they can't do it right now because their executive functioning is not working. And so um, it's just being all the kind of stuff that you've been doing in your 7, 14, 21 days. How many days are you doing at this point?
Well, we've been doing a boot camp at least every other week now since I think beginning of March. So we're at 7 weeks. We'll have our next one come
So you
Monday,
have
and
49 days? Wow.
so
Michael,
we're
that's
just
incredible.
on the mic and on the mic and on the mic, and it's been transformative for us, and it hasn't been easy. And the word that keeps coming to us is we've got to make this sustainable. But we've passed the curve on the hockey stick, and you go and you figure it out and you assemble. But we've been doing just this work with people of let's get you grounded, let's get you breathing, let's get you back in your body. One of the biggies that's been coming up with people, and it's all good stuff. So if we can get past really serious stuff, and there's really serious stuff going on, I'm not worthy seems to be one of the most common statements that's coming up now. I think because we feel so disempowered.
Hmm.
And so we have to put somebody back into their body and literally show them or have them reattached to their worth so they have confidence for anything at this
Hmm.
time.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think that that's, it's the base work. I mean, someone was saying that this gal that I was talking to, that it was a good interview, but it did make me a little bit depressed, was that
Oh,
we're through a 26,000 year cycle. Have you heard this? This has just
oh
been
yes.
beating me over the head over the last couple weeks. I'm like, okay, I get it. We're in a 26,000
Procession.
year cycle, procession
Yep.
that ended in 2012. I don't know if some people probably have different estimates, but it's kind of like the end of the world happened in 2012, and then we kind of descended into some other space, and that now we're on a descent of an ascent that is going to come up where we can actually um, move to building this new world. But until that happens, we have to dissolve every structure that no longer was serving us. This is the thing that so is this what you're getting with all the
That's
spiritual
what I'm
folks you've
getting, and
talked?
I've heard different dates. I've even heard a range of even a couple hundred years. How do you pinpoint exactly?
Yeah,
But I am looking at the beauty of this time as this is what the Egyptian pyramids, they show precession. They show alignment of every 13,000 years things coming back, and 13,000 times 2 being the 26,000 of precession. And you've got a Nostradamus, you've got a Mayan calendar, and on it goes, of an end of the world, not meaning the end of the world, an end of a world, an epic, a time period going into Age of Aquarius is another way to look at it.
right.
And everything that didn't serve us is falling away, which is why I wouldn't, if I read in the paper, coronavirus will be gone tomorrow, I'll be like, I think we're in a bit of a meat grinder for a little while here, folks. But let's prepare for it.
Right.
Let's be okay with it. And let's recognize that we were completely unsustainable. That's the word that keeps coming up. We were completely out of coherence, out of alignment. And now we can see clearly, we can breathe clearly. The animals are coming back. The water is getting clearer. The ground, scientists literally show on Richter scale, is vibrating less pollution of the earth vibrating for the animals. Wow, everything didn't serve us is going away. Something's new is coming. That's the theme. Scary as hell. We don't know what's coming up. We can't do the build ourselves because we're not in charge.
Right. Right. Well, we have to surrender because something greater than us is happening. I think it's surrendering what was old, which is really hard because we have all of our attachments to the old. So it's surrendering what was old and being open to creating a new, but from a place of heart versus mind. This is kind of the executive summary of like all the different interviews that I've been doing. How about you? Where are you taking that piece of knowledge and which is that we're in the place of creating now, and I'm taking it as creating seeds from now that we're planting a seed for the future. What is it that we want? What seed do we want to plant? And I'm hearing yours is like positive, happy, because we need to put into the field. If we are all
Yeah.
part of this is giving us a sense that we're part of a field, a unified field. So what we place into that field is what we're trying to focus on. And what I'm hearing you do with all the 49 sessions that you've been doing for a while is to just put positivity and love and happiness into that field.
Yeah, and I guess you could say I'm gently without forcing it. It's like
Hmm.
we're going to go on the mic. I'll get to a coach for a session after this. Then the steam will come down out of the ears for a while, and then I'll be back on the mic for 2, 3 hours again tonight,
Wow.
and have a few thousand people. Will do a meditation together. There is a sense of not rushing. That's why Uguay and all the tortoises have been visiting me, but a sense of we get to come together now.
Hmm.
Not in a minute from now.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
And what we don't realize is that even with social distancing or whatever we want to call this time period, we are one. We are in this unified field, this Akashic field, this informed field, this field of quanta, whatever you want to call it. And so on the one side, you can see what appears to be darkness. It's a ruse, it's not. But what appears to be darkness, we then balance by bringing energy from wherever we're at. We can pump into the field from a cave in the Himalayas, from our apartment in New York City, from wherever, and we can reach this critical mass and literally, like Paul Selig and his guides would talk about, shift to the upper room, or from electron terms, reach a higher state,
Mm.
or shift states of that electron. Um, and that's what I think where the game is played at right now. It's scary because the old is falling away, but instead of holding on to the old and being dragged down into that kind of black hole beneath us, let go, watch it plunge, and say, what else is possible now? And realize you're an alchemist, which means you can transform energy. You can take fear into love. It's very, very simple to do, although right now maybe a little more challenging.
Right.
But we're playing. You held out your arms earlier, and I like that. You held it out, and you said we're in this field. And to me, when you hold out your arms, what I see is a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bowl of energy. And what we're learning how to do is hold big energy.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no bigger energy than a global change that has not been experienced, at least during the written history of humanity. Big energy. But when you learn to hold that energy and you don't crack from holding it, you want to run, you want to scream, you want to cry, which is all okay. Love yourself up no matter what. But then you can kind of move it around, kind of that symbol of yin and yang, and tai chi it and transform. That's the alchemist. Transform that energy into what we want. And instead of going from what was, I'm going to go past tense here, a global nightmare, destroying the planet, cooking the planet, as Bruce Lipton, I think, called it the sixth mass extinction. All of these quote unquote negatives going on in that collective nightmare. Now we get to envision what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want when we come out of this incubation, when we come out of this cocoon and we grow our new butterfly wings?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want the commuting we had before. We don't want the pollution we had before. We want closer social contact. We want the closer families that most of us have been gifted in having during this time. Those who haven't are going to get away from their abusers and are going to want something more.
Mm-hmm.
What a gift. What? And we're going to look at these societal structures, these political structures, and it's going to be very clear what is not serving us. And we're going to go, we want something more. We want something better. Let's do it. And I
Yeah.
can see like the hugs coming out of the people in China when they briefly had their reprieve. And I think they're going to be having waves. Those hugs are what we're going to be doing on a collective, on a global level now.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope. I think it's
I am hugely positive. It is a choice,
yeah, I
but
think
I'm
it's a
hugely
choice.
positive.
I mean, I think what I think is it's like when a pebble hits the water, there are these concentric circles, and I think there's either the pebble that hits the water and then concentric circles, or something from the outside coming in and like being the eye of the hurricane. I think it works both directions, and so in this unified field, it's like holding this field external to us. So regardless, let's say that you aren't one of the people that's, the 1,000 people that is in your workshop, that there's enough vibration to help you kind of move from where you are to a different place. So I think that is like one way of skinning it, right? You just like go from the outside and then like hopefully it permeates to the inside. And I guess my approach has been different than yours. Not, I mean, just different, which is I've
And
been
we'll take it.
asked,
Every approach is important
yeah,
right
no,
now.
so
Every.
my approach is to, if I look at my, if what the universe is telling me is that I do a lot. I do a lot because I want to accomplish a lot because of my culture, society, whatever. Because when I do all those things, I'm of value. That's basically the equation that I think most Westerners and probably a lot of Easterners from my descent kind of have that particular uh, predisposition on thinking about life. And so, what I've been trying to do is rest. And I can't even tell you how hard it is to feel comfortable resting because, in order to do nothing, you have to be okay with doing nothing, which is, for me, really hard. But I've been kind of wrestling back and forth with, oh, what you're supposed to be doing is doing nothing, but is that doing, which is not what you're supposed to be doing? Like it's just this insane dance. But I think that another way of approaching this, in case the kind of like go out and do it doesn't appeal to you, then it's like go on the inside and figure out like when all the things, if you are affected by the news, if you're affected by whatever is happening, it's rattling something on the inside. This is what's happening for me. It's rattling something on the inside that wants to be healed. And so if you heal that part, going into the darkness, not in the light, if you go into the darkness and go in and have the courage and faith, same words, courage and faith, to go into the darkness, your greatest fears, the things that are keeping you down into a survival instinct or into a world in which you're ultimately not happy, right? I mean, doing and accomplishing all the time does not make you happy. even with all the awards and positional titles and the money, that also doesn't make you happy. So once you reach that point, it's like, well, what? We're at that point now where we have the opportunity to ask ourselves individually, personally, and if we are feeling despair, if we're feeling fear, if we're feeling darkness, to go in and rest in there, and at the same time do what you're doing. Love yourself while you're in that place, and allow that part to heal so that something else can come anew. Just like a seed, when planted in the earth, is in the darkness, but when it reaches the surface, is allowed to grow through light. I know that's another way, just to
Oh, I'm
offer balance to whatever
well.
people
No,
may be happening.
actually, I'm with you. Rather than be balancing on the other side, I'm not suggesting it's a big young time yet. I am believing that we all get to dive in because it is, to me, it's a global detox.
Hmm.
Everything that needed to come up and out is coming up and out. All of our traumas. Why are your clients coming to you like this?
Right,
It's because things that they even thought were healed,
right.
they have to dive in, they have to put the mirror on, they have to go into the darkness and re-examine. I think the scariest thing now is the non-doing that the majority of us, minus service workers, minus the heroes on the front line, have to experience. And I've looked it up to see. I think I know the origin was a Wayne Dyer quote, but I guess somewhere along the line I mutated enough that I can't even find the origin of it. So if I do, then I am. Then if I don't, am I not?
Right,
And right now, we're being forced to strip away the label of who we were when we were doing,
right.
which is incredibly scary.
It is very scary. And okay. I mean, I think it's an opportunity for us to really dive into what makes us human, what makes us in our essence, which most of us spend most of the time running away from. So this is an opportunity to get healing, seek balance, get a sense of wholeness, and I think discover some undiscovered parts of yourself that may have been held back by just the delusion of living life like it was before.
I'm so glad you said that because one of the challenges I've been giving people is to rediscover or allow themselves to experience their true authentic self.
Hmm.
For instance, I can't tell you, I'm sure it's the same with you, the number of clients who have hidden their quote spiritual side. And I put that in quotes because there's no separation. There's no spiritual side and no but we try to create this duality where, well, I won't wear my spiritual hat at work. And I say, look, we've all passed mile 20 in the marathon now. We are all
Even Oprah's doing it. Come on.
exactly. And you know the Camino on the days that you were turning to prayer big time.
Yeah, exactly.
God, get me in. That's where we all are. Own it, own it, own it.
Hmm.
Own who you truly are. Allow yourself to be who you truly are. And you may have to do exercises or just simply sit with it and go, man, when I was a kid, who was I before they told me who I could and couldn't be?
Yeah, yeah. It's uh it's interesting because I think that is it Youngingen who basically says that we actually come in whole, and then we have parents that say, "Oh no, you can't be
Yeah.
um, the child that you can't be loud, and you need to be a quiet Asian girl. Sit back, don't say anything, be
I
quiet."
can hear your inner being screaming.
Stop dancing, stop moving. It's like all these different things. So, there are these on and off switches that you go on and like turn off different parts of yourself. And then those parts, according to shamanic pieces, are like, they fragment. And so they fragment out of your life. And then you have to go with soul retrieval and shamanic practices, go and retrieve those parts of yourself and reintegrate those parts back into yourself. So, using my example, the woman that said, "Hey, your masculine part is not developed," I thought, "Oh gosh, like I don't know." But I think she's right. I think that's part of the reason why I'm like, "Oh no." Can I just do these meditations of the light that I so enjoy? And it's like, "No. You got to like go into your body, find out what those things are, what you're guarding, because anything that you guard means if you're guarding and holding something, it means that you're not open and loving. It means that you're in fear. So finding those parts in your body that are guarded and like, and let go, because your awareness opens, your love opens, your heart opens when it's not guarded. But it's hard work to do.
It's what's really cool. It is hard, but to be a shaman means to see clearly.
Hmm.
And you are exemplifying the shaman when you say, "Oh no." But "oh no" doesn't mean, "oh no, I don't want to do that." It means, "Oh crap, I'm busted."
It's a
Because
little bit of both, to be honest. Michael's like, oh no, now I'm gonna have to dive in
exactly, the buttons, the
dumpster
triggers, the
dive.
things we fight against, the things we push away are typically exactly where we get to go. And so when you find yourself having the childish temper tantrum, maybe just on the inside, know whatever triggered it has gotcha.
Yeah, no, I can
That's
buy.
where you get to
I
go.
know. I'll tell you what. The last time I did this, it was about the theme was sacrifice, and I went to that woman's retreat. Remember about a month and a half ago,
Okay.
pre-COVID.
Wow.
Remember when I went
That's
that?
like 10,
I
10 decades ago. Forget
I
about 10
know.
years ago.
I was interviewing you. We talked in my hotel room, and I was doing this breathing. It's called connected breathing,
Yeah.
and it's a way of accessing your subconscious, where all these kinds of hidden patterns are stored, and coming up with a theme, which I didn't. I sort of had a theme, but I didn't know the theme. But like you breathe in and out, bring it out, and then finally your body. It's you can start feeling all the tension when you think about a topic, and then you end up letting it go, and it's pretty much of like a storm of screaming, crying, like up, stomping your feet, yelling. I'm like, oh, not that again. But I if that's where I need to go, I'm willing to go there. But it's like, oh, again. But
And I think I can speak for myself with our business and having to face all of these things during this time. I'm going, my little inner voice is going, either I don't have the time, or I don't want to do it, or I already got that done, or it's like giving me a riot act of reasons why I shouldn't have to go there again. But dude, you're in the cocoon. We're all
yeah,
in the cocoon. We
yeah.
get to go there in the
Yeah,
cocoon.
and
It,
again and again and again and
but
again.
it's spiraling up the mountain. You're
Yeah,
saying again and again, but each time that you think, "Oh my God, how did I get back here?" Realize you're at a higher level of awareness. You have expanded, you have grown. And you come back around months, weeks, days, years later, and you go, "Can't believe I'm back here. Haven't I grown at all?" Look down. Obviously, you have. Look at all of your experiences. Look at
yeah,
where you are, continuously growing up that mountain.
yeah. I like that. I love that. I love this whole idea of this spiral dynamics that are happening. And is it spiral dynamics? What is it called? Spiral path. The spiral path, because that's really the path that we're on.
I like it. I am
Yeah,
now spiraling. I'm holding on to an obsidian stone.
yeah.
I'm spiraling my thumb around to keep myself grounded during this interview now.
So that you're
Like,
not gonna honk.
give me earth.
Okay, I'll hold my obsidian as well. Okay, what parts didn't we talk about? We talked about
I think in many ways we covered most. Okay, so I've got the love bug who we've been raising her things that she jumps on in the window, her little hammocks up higher to give her a new view. She's
nice.
enjoying that. I think we got your clients in ER. We got being and doing wrestling, embodiment, owning male, down the rabbit hole. Turtles, hogs, I've been getting in dreams now. We don't even need to really go in there. Going 50% of the way for the Pookie, like she's been making us whole wheat pancakes in the morning, whole wheat blueberry with little mini chips in it. And if I put out the ingredients and set everything up, it's easier for her to get done. So it's meeting somebody halfway.
Nice, yes.
We are having dream team meetings. We had our first meeting of our whole Inspire Nation crew. Well, minus one or two. I think there are 8 or 9 of us now. It was really cool
Nice.
this past, and we're growing more over this week, and we're growing more. So that's been really cool. And we're inviting ambassadors on board, people and volunteers for our Inspire Nation Corps, daring to mold. I guess that's the last thing that we didn't really cover,
Hmm.
which is I bought these most amazing speed skates, inline speed skates, 3 years ago, and you have to heat mold them.
Oh yeah, you
And
told
I
me about those. Yeah.
and I couldn't get them to work. And so I dared to mold them this year again. And I've been getting blister after blister, and I'm daring to mold them again, and I'm daring to mold them. And they're starting to look ragged around the edges from all the heat molding, and it's
Mm,
not quite working. But I'm pushing ahead with it and saying, well, what's the worst that can happen? The skates don't work out. Okay, let's keep going for it. I'm facing my fear of screwing it up and ruining it. And that is in some way, it is such a core wound inside of myself,
mm.
but I'm allowing myself to do that, which is really, really cool. And the only other thing is both you and I and half of the world's population have hair gone out of control right now.
I know. What are you doing, Michael?
Maybe this weekend, maybe I would like the Pookie to do a haircut. She would like to do a haircut with us on the mic 7 days a week. Oh, actually, I get a break tomorrow night. Maybe I can get the haircut done then. Maybe so. That would be cool. It's just my life is not mine during this time. Your life is not yours. Nobody, if you're listening to us, your life is yours. You are, whether you want to look at it as a battery in the matrix, and I want to look at it as something even more positive than that, you are a field of positive energy that you can pump back into the system. But it's not exactly up to you. So the more that we just surrender and go, well, this isn't exactly what I expected. I surrender. This isn't what I planned. That's okay. Somebody told me a day or two ago that the way they're getting through it is saying, it's not mine. I like
Mm,
that.
mm.
This is not mine. We incarnated. 1 of 8 billion people chose this time to incarnate for something incredibly special. And special, at least at our level of belief, usually doesn't mean easy.
Right, for sure.
But we came here because we can each hold big energy and big space. We're never given more than we can handle. And so we get to own that and surrender into it. And that's the best way I can look at it.
Yes, I like that. I think surrender is the operative word, and maybe this is the new normal. And the more we kind of get attached to the old and want to grab onto the old, it's like a tree during fall wanting all the leaves to go back. It's just
Where's the super glue?
well,
Where's the super glue for the leaves? Yeah, it
exactly. It doesn't happen. Let go and know that in the spring something new will rise. We don't know what it looks like. When will we know? I don't know. What it will look like? I don't know.
I'm actually
Surrender.
really excited about that. And I in no way make light of what anybody is going through, but I can only see positive, powerful possibilities coming out of this. It's a choice. If we stand in the light, if we want to go dance in the darkness, then something else may come about. I'm still convinced that enough of us will go to the light that something positive will come about. But it's a choice we get to make. But we're all superstars. We all came here during this time.
Yeah.
It's freaking on one level awesome. Look at it. Step back in the history of mankind. You can go, it's a plague though, Michael. Yes, true. And there's a lot of suffering, grief, not making light of it. But in the history, written history of mankind, the whole planet has never come together for one singular event ever.
Mm-hmm.
What possibility could come out of this? And we have electronics to keep ourselves connected.
Yeah.
What could come out of this? It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely huge, and I think it's 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 happening all at once, right? The dissolution of the banking system, the dissolution of and basically technology taking even a larger role in our lives in how we work and maybe even taking over some of our jobs. I mean, it was going to happen at one point. It's just now this is kind of
It's a
helping us.
punctuation mark.
Yeah, it's helping us like face the reality of what was going to come and Andrew Yang and basic income, all those kinds of things that people are like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's nice." And it's like, "Oh, actually no, this is reality now." So I think it will help us bring forth policies to help the whole versus what we've been doing, which is only a few privileged get to experience that. So I think there's there's hopefully systems and new ways of being that I'm hoping will be created from this and the environment being protected and us realizing we don't have to get in the plane and fly everywhere all the time. We don't.
No, I think we're going to realize we are one, we are one, we are one. Systems that suggest otherwise are going to fall away. The disparity is going to fall away. The disparity not just between you and me, haves and have-nots, but between us and Earth. And we're going to realize it is all one closed system. It is all each of us one integral piece of the whole. And we are going to see, as some people suffer more than others, as some places suffer more than others, I think our hearts are cracking open, the kindness, the compassion. And you go, no, people seem whatever more than ever. I'm going to go, no, 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 no. That's just a symptom. That's not the result. That's not the end of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the pain coming out at the moment of not wanting the change. But look and watch. There is beauty coming out of the discomfort. This is speaking from someone who spent months on the couch with not enough blood to get my head up after my second near-death experience. Literally, I had enough transfusions where I said stop, and it took me 2 months to be able to raise my head up off the
Mm.
couch. And something beautiful was coming out of it. And I know that's coming for all of us. Global near-death experience right now, a massive, beautiful wake-up call in a horrific disguise.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty good way to end it, I think.
I can't end on the words horrific disguise. Woohoo? No! Love. Love is the answer. Go to love. Love yourself up. Love yourself up more. You're going to go up and down and up and down, just as this virus, I'm convinced, is going to go up and down and up and down. It is a messenger, and look at the vehicle that the messenger takes and look at the patterns of the messenger. But when you go down, love yourself up even more. When you come up, love everybody around you. When you go down, love yourself up even more and love everybody up around you, and you're going to come back up. Love is the answer. Full stop.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! On that note, got a coach here. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler and
CJ Lou from the Fired Up with CJ show.
saying, be well, have fun, hold on, but no, not only that will this pass, but we are elevating, folks. We are moving to the higher level. We are going to the upper room. We are going to vibrate at this higher level, and life is going to get much, 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 much better. And above and beyond all else, shine bright. Woo!
Okay.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.